Hello, welcome. We're live. How's it going? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome. We're going to do a rhythm workshop tonight. Rhythm styles. We've done a couple of these in the past, about the last couple months or so. What's up, Craig from Melbourne? Saturday morning session. All right. Good day. Excellent. Good to see you, my friend. Rusty, what's up? Jim Gregory, excellent. Judah, Vietnam. Oh, excellent. Awesome. Well, welcome, everybody. Jody One, of course. And Reg Jacob, welcome. Rich, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. I hope everybody's doing well. The Duke from Missouri, excellent. Rui, what's up? Good evening. Back at you. Hope everybody's well. We've got some cool tabs tonight. A few little things to go through, just some different rhythm guitar stylistic sort of things. And hope you find it enjoyable and informative. Dusty, what's up? Brand new guitarist, Dusty Rose. Should I be here? Well, hang in there because there's some beginner to intermediate type things that we go over in this one, okay? King 50, what's up? From Nevada, good to see you. Nikki, what's up? Right on. Dusty, yeah, please don't get scared off. We've got some, try to do some basic sort of things a little bit, but yeah, we're going to look at rhythm guitar tonight and touch on a few styles. Now, I've done a couple of these in the past, the last couple months. If you check out the Guitar Tricks channel and all the live videos that we've done, the Friday night sessions, I've done volume 1 and volume 2 of this, so this is very much in the same vein. Now, those of you joining us for the first time tonight, please expand the description below this video, and there's a PDF with some tabs, and that's what we're going to go through tonight. And hopefully, like I said, you find it maybe a little bit inspiring, or you pick up some tips here and there. I think it'll be well worth your while. Zane, what's up? Good to see you. Excellent. Okay, cool. So as I usually do, we sort of start off with some strumming type stuff. And this first example, Louisiana Kermit, good to see you. All right. Exercise 1, some syncopated strumming. Okay, so again, this is sort of a little bit further down the road than for a beginner guitar player. But I'll go over a few things. We've got sort of a lengthy chord progression here with some ornamentation. Each bar I've got like a chord, and then I do an extra thing halfway through, sort of change the chord a little bit. Okay, what's up, Kenneth? Good to see you. All right. So we're starting with an A minor chord. Okay, so we're going to start with that open A string, also the 5th string. Like if we count the strings, the 1st string is the highest string up top. We sometimes call that the top string, even though a lot of people get confused, think this is the top string. But it's sort of the top as if you're kind of looking at it, right? And it's also the highest sounding string. So that's the 1st string. And as you come down the strings to the lower string, that's the 6th string. So when I say the open 5th string, that's this one, the open A string. It's tuned to A in standard tuning. Rich in Beijing. Oh, very cool. That's awesome. Ron, what's up in Boston? Hope everybody's doing well. And then we're grabbing the 2nd fret of the D and G, 1st fret of the B string, and then the open high E string. And we just want to strum from the 5th string all the way up. Okay, if you get that lower note in there, it tends to be a little bit muddy, even though it's in the chord. It sounds a little more focused if you just go from the 5th string all the way up. Dusty, I'm running on the exact same guitar. Excellent, right on. Congrats, man. That's awesome. Very cool. Okay. Well, listen, if you're just picking up the instrument, you're new to it, be sure to sign up for Guitar Tricks if you haven't already. guitartricks.com and check out the fundamentals class. Okay, they're going to take you right from step one, and you could go at your own pace and start learning to play the guitar from the very basics right in the beginning. Okay, so I recommend doing that. Anybody who's brand new to the guitar. And so what I'm going to do is take this A minor chord, and about halfway through the bar, I'm going to add my pinky, which is a G note, 3rd fret of the high string. Okay? And so this sort of turns this A minor into an A minor 7 because you're adding a G note to it. Okay? Now let's look at the strum. So I've denoted on the tabs where you've got the staple looking thing, that's a down strum. And then the point or the arrow pointing down, that's going to be the upstroke. Okay? So we go. One more time there. I'm going to go a little bit slow. Down, down, up, up, down, 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 up. Okay? What's tricky about this is that as soon as I go to the upstroke is when I'm adding that extra note onto the chord, that 3rd fret of the high string, right? Down, down, up, down, 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 up. Okay? So if that strum's a little bit too much for you, don't worry about the chord change. Just hold a chord or even open strings and work on the strum for a little while and get it under sort of your muscle memory a little bit. Down, down, up, down, 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 up. A minor major 7th? No, that's actually not a major 7th. And the reason is that the G is a full step below the root, which is A, right? So in order to get an A minor 7, you need to have that flat 7th added to the chord. Your 7th is flat, which means that it's 2 frets down from your root, which is G. Now, in the case of, Duke's asking the questions here in the comment, in the case of, let's say, an A major, okay, then I've got, the first thing is that I've got a major 3rd, so I'm hitting the 2nd fret of the B string instead of the 1st fret. And then in that case, the formula for a major 7th chord is to have the major 7 added to the chord, which would be just 1 fret down from the root. So it would be a G sharp. And so that's why we get this. Okay, now I've got it on the 4th fret of the high string, but I'm attaching it to a major chord. That would give you the major 7. Okay, but because we're a minor 7, we're looking for a minor 7 here. We're going to come 2 frets down from A, and that's going to be our 7th. It's going to be the actual G notes. Okay? Does that make sense? A minor 7. Yeah, exactly. A minor 7. Cool. So when we look at this first strum and do it, and now add the 3rd fret on starting with the upstroke, you're going to get... Once again, I'm going to go a little bit slower. Down, down, up, down, 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 up. Jody 1, A minor / G. Not quite, because when you name the chord that way with a slash chord, what you're saying is the A minor and then a G in the bass. So then the root note would be G. So that's not quite correct for what we've got in the tab here, because I'm adding a G note to the top of the chord, like a higher tone, and I still have A as the root. Okay? So I've added a G to the chord, but there's still an A in the bass, and then that's what makes it an A minor 7. Okay? Yes. So the second, anytime you see one of those slash chords, the second note is going to be the root. Okay, so in this case, it would be this. Okay. Excellent, Strumming Susan. I love it. Good job getting into the acoustic course. That's awesome. Cheers, everybody. Hey, what's up, Dave? Welcome. Where's the tab? You got to expand the description below this video, and then there's a link to a Google Doc to be able to access that tab. What's up, Audible Headache? Good to see you. All right. Okay, so let's look at the second bar. Second bar, we've got, we're playing off an E7. So that's the low string is open, second fret of the A, first fret of the G. Everything else is open, right? I love that. Gypsy's a great name for that. Susan, excellent. Bill, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for your kind words. Thank you so much. Cool. Mark from the Philippines. All right. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Glad you enjoy the channel. So we're going to start off with this E7. It's an E dominant seventh chord. It's kind of that bluesy kind of sounding chord. And then halfway through the bar, I'm going to add my pinky again, this time to the third fret of the B string. Now that doesn't actually change the chord because we've already got a D note. The open D string is already in the chord. So I'm just replacing the B string with a D note on the third fret of the B string. And it's just sort of a different sounding E7. It's still an E7. It just sounds a little bit different. So if you listen between the two, okay. So with that strum, I'm going to go. Okay, I'm going to use the same strum in every bar, and I'm just going to change the chord progression. Next, I'm going to go to the G chord in the third bar, and this G chord is really just like an open G power chord. Third fret of the low string, and curl your finger around to the open A string so that it's muted. Okay, so I'm curling my finger and just getting some flesh on that A string so that it mutes out. Open D string, open G string, third fret of the B, and high E string. Okay. The note I'm going to add to this chord on the upstroke is the second fret of the G string. And that's going to be a sus2, which gives it kind of a floaty sound. So it's going to sound like this. Thanks, Russell. Too kind. Very kind words. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for that. All right, so, and then the fourth bar, I'm just going to take you to the fourth bar, and then we'll play through the first four bars continuously, but we've got an open D chord, open D string, second fret of the G, third fret of the B, second fret of the high string. Now, with the D chord, it still sounds pretty good with the open A string if you want. Sounds a little bit thicker, and that sort of, you know, technically that would end up being D/A, right? But a lot of times we just call that a D chord because it's just so common. You know, kind of when you're rocking out or whatever, you can hit that open A in there. It sounds a little bit thicker. And then halfway through, I'm going to add my pinky again, third fret of the high string. That turns it into a sus4. It's another floaty sounding type chord. So let's take it from the top and hear this chord progression so far. So it's sort of a cross between Hotel California and Angie, a little bit, sort of a classic rock sort of thing. All right, let's pick it up because we're kind of halfway through the progression. It's kind of a long progression to start off the session with tonight. Yeah, a little bit of Angie and a little bit of, you'll see it's a little bit of Hotel California, right? Cool, Rusty. Well, hang in there. I've got some more straight ahead stuff in a little bit, okay? All right, Antonio, cool. All right, so bar 5, I've got an F major 7. And so it's a little more compact of a chord than the full F bar chord. You've got the third fret of the fourth string, second fret of the third string, first fret of the second string, and the open high E string. Another great floaty, jazzy kind of chord. And then I'm going to add my pinky to the third fret of the high string again. It turns it into an F add 9, which means you're just adding a G note to an F chord. From there, I want to go to an open C chord. So I've got the 3rd fret of the A string, 2nd fret of the D, open G string, 1st fret of the B string, open high E string. Now, on the C chord, I'm going to add my pinky onto the 3rd fret of the high string. And that also does not change the chord. It just gives you a little bit of a different sound because you're going from an open E string, which is E, which is the major 3rd of the chord. You're going to the 5th of the chord, which is the G. So it's still a note that's in the chord, so it doesn't change the quality of the chord, right? Bar 7, I'm going to go into D minor now. Okay, so we did D major earlier, now we're doing D minor, open D string, 2nd fret of the G string, 3rd fret of the B string, and then 1st fret of the high string. Okay, so you have to use different fingers here. You know, when you go a D major here, you kind of have to switch it up to get the D minor. What's up, Ed? No problem. All good. Glad you made it. Okay. And then what we're going to have to do here is flatten down your pinky when it comes time to add that note halfway through. So it'll be... Okay, so a little bit of a different technique here. You can see that I'm curling my finger so that on the B string, my pinky is curled so that I've got that 1st fret of the high string, and then I like sort of push it down and bar down top 2 string. What's up, James? James, can't talk tonight. James, what's up? Good to see you. Okay, so a little bit of a flattening down across the fret. And then in the final one, hey, Peter, what's up? Glad you made it. And we've got back to the E7. And this time I'm just going to add on to the 2nd fret of the G string to make it the sus4, okay? All right, so I know I've taken up a whole chunk of time on this first one. I apologize. It's because it's a big chord progression. All right, so I'm going to play through it once just so you have it on this video. Of course, you can always come back and revisit this video and see how it's played through. Here we go. From the A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I apologize for some glitches. I don't know why it's glitching out on you. Apologize for that. Hopefully audio from the guitar drops a bit. All right, well, I'll see if I can... Yeah, interesting. Shouldn't be doing that. I don't think that's really happened in the past, but yeah, let's blame YouTube for it. I apologize if the guitar's dropping in and out. So, all right. Let's come out of here and go here and a little bit more grit on the sound. Okay, so bad YouTube. Exercise 2, I've showed, I was sort of thinking Green Day a little bit. So sticking with the rock thing, we'll go into some other styles in a bit. But I hadn't done anything really with just some straight ahead power chord type rhythms, okay? And so I've got a really simple progression right here with power chords, which is, thank you, Randall, I appreciate it. Okay, so I've got the 8th fret of the low string and the 10th fret of the A and D string. It's called a power chord, okay? It's not major, it's not minor, it just has a root and a 5th in it, okay? And there's a number of ways to finger this. You can finger these with 3 fingers if you'd like. I've got the index finger on the low string, and I've got the ring and pinky. But you could also you could flatten your pinky down and get both those strings, or your ring finger. Okay? All of these are sort of common ways to get these power chord shapes going. Okay? My root is C right here. So this is a C power chord, or a C5. And I've got a straight 8th note strum. So I'm using all downstrokes, and I'm using palm muting. Okay? So downstrokes and palm muting, what you want to do is get your karate chopper down near the bridge. And I rest it kind of on top of the saddles of the bridge. Very lightly. You don't have to press very hard to get that dampening sound, right? Okay? Oh man, I wonder what's going on tonight. Let me turn this off and see if it helps. I wonder if there's some sort of noise cancellation or something going on. I don't know whether or not it improved or not, but we'll just soldier on here. Okay, so I'm doing all downstrokes. And the way that you think of this is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, because we're doing 2 picks per the beat, right? The count, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, cool. Sounds better now. All right, and some others are not experiencing any problem with audio, so hopefully this is okay. Okay, cool. So that's the first bar, just staying on a C power chord. And then I'm going to move it down 2 frets for the first 2 beats of the next bar. 1 and 2 and. And then for the 3rd and 4th beats, I'm going to move that shape, the same shape, up to the 8th fret of the A string, 10th fret of the D and G. And that's 3 and 4 and. Okay? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Very straight ahead, very simple. But once you get it down, then you can start practicing other things, right? Like speeding it, going really fast like that, right? Like that's something to work on. Get your timing nice and smooth for that. Then we're getting a little more into, sort of Green Day territory a little bit. Okay. Thanks, man. Yeah, and you can practice a little bit with your location of the karate chopper for the palm muting, okay? You see, as I move it in over the pickups, it starts to really choke out the sound. Now, if you have a lot of high gain, like if you're playing metal, a lot of times that you get that really tight palm muting kind of as you move in a little bit, and it'll still pop through, right? Oh man, I didn't even realize it's Friday the 13th. Audible. Man, I should have done something. What is that? No, that's Halloween. Getting it all mixed up. I don't know what the theme is for Friday the 13th. Should have had it. Yes, you can do this on acoustic guitar as well. And in fact, a lot of have that palm muted kind of sound on the acoustic as well. And so just experiment down by the bridge here, okay? Kind of work next to the saddles, nice and light. Okay, it is Saturday the 14th. That's right. We've got those of you who are into tomorrow already. So that is correct. I like that. Okay. Okay, so I like to rest on the bridge. I mean, it depends on what kind of guitar you have, right? But just nice and light, okay? And you can find if you add a little bit more, you move it in a little bit, it gets tighter and tighter, but you don't, and other times you can kind of just sort of dampen it a little bit if you're just really light, right? There's a lot of experimenting to do with this kind of technique, right? You get lots of different sounds, okay? How can you do a D minor solo without breaking the strings? Good question. I don't know, man. That is a very good question. If you're breaking strings, I'm not sure what's going on with that. Yeah, the Cars, right? There's the Cars progression, a little bit different key, right? Yeah, James, I don't know. You'd have to tell me a little bit more about what you're doing with breaking the strings, D minor solo. You might be just digging in really, really hard and bending those strings really hard. You know, nowadays the strings shouldn't really break. Sort of shouldn't break as often, right? So yeah, it might be a setup issue with your guitar if you're having chronic sort of string breaking issues, right? Might want to have a tech look at it. Anyway, cool. So yeah, just a straight ahead palm muted rhythm with power chords. You've got a C chord going to B flat, going to F, and back to C. Now, the second part of this exercise is the swung power chords. And so I was sort of thinking Green Day a little bit with this, and I'll sort of play it and I'll talk about it a little bit, like a. Okay, that's sort of what I'm going for a little bit with this. And it's the first thing that you want to have happen here is it's still eighth notes, but you're going to switch to an upstroke in between. So it's a down, up, down, up, down. The second thing to notice is that this is a swung rhythm, okay? So when you swing it, that upstroke has to be delayed a little bit and pushed a little bit closer towards the next downstroke, okay? So instead of, you've got the upstroke being delayed a little bit. So it's sort of almost like a bluesy rhythm, but because it's so aggressive and so fast, you've got that sort of Green Day like sort of thing where it's you know, really pushed along, really, you know. Okay, so no more palm muting. We're doing that wide open, and you know, I'm kind of basically. It's not imperative that you hit like every. Do you see how the open strings are tabbed out in between the downstrokes? That's just there to sort of let you know that you're lifting your chord off of the fretboard. You see what I'm doing there? Okay. That's what we're kind of going for with that one. So that's a really fun one to play with. It's a little bit tricky to get going because there's a couple components to it, but definitely a fun thing to do. Just as a sort of a side thing, if you want to think, you could almost do like sort of a Stevie Ray Vaughan blues thing, which I might actually do in a future thing. I didn't think about it, but it's sort of the same technique where you would play off an E chord and do some moving sort of bass line type stuff. Like that kind of thing, right? Okay. Same technique there, where you're hitting the chord on the downstroke and then kind of lifting off. On the upstroke is just open strings, but it happens so fast that you get to the next downstroke, which is an actual note or a chord, and it gives you that sort of feel, right? So once again, on the power chords here. Okay. Right on, Dusty. Cool. All right. So hopefully you can mess around with that one. That's a fun one to play around with a little bit. Let's see. Just going back a little bit. Breaks a string most concerts. Yeah, crazy. And some people don't break strings. Thanks, Sophia, for tuning in. I appreciate that. Luther said the nut has to be smoothed. Could be. Yeah. Nut might be catching somewhere, and then with a little bit of movement, it kind of snaps the string. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Increase the gauge. There we go. Good tip. Ween stops for 8 seconds. The guitar player does a solo. There you go. Cool, cool. Yeah, it's not even really a mute. You're sort of just taking your hands off the chord and then just hitting the open strings however they are. But because you're doing it so quickly, it ends up, it sounds really quick like that. So that kind of thing. And Ron, good point. Yeah, check out Guitar Tricks in the forum. There is an Ask a Luthier forum subheading where he answers questions. So cool. Really so weird we're having audio problems tonight. I apologize if it's on my end. That's I'll have to investigate a little bit further. I apologize. Excellent. Cool, cool, cool. All right. And Sophia, yes, I have listened to the John Mayer record, and it's definitely interesting. Definitely 80s sounding, right? You haven't been here for a while. I actually had if you go back and watch a couple of weeks ago, I did one of the songs, taught one of the songs on this session here. So you're going to have to head back and look for it. All right. Syncopated triad riff. Okay, exercise 3. We're back to straight time now, and I wanted to show you just sort of a straight ahead riff with triads. What triads are 3-note chords. Okay, so when we're talking about major and minor, okay, that's all you need are 3 notes for those. Okay, well, yeah, some people are not having the audio problems, so dang, I don't know what's going on. Hopefully it's all good coming out of my end. All right. So okay. So that's the first riff. And actually cool, Rich. Thank you. So I didn't show that was palm muted on the open A string in that first line. Okay. Sometimes it's not like my guitar is plugged in. Well, maybe, you're going to hear that, but hopefully you should have some of that. All right, so we've got a pedal. We're pedaling on this A root note, and we're just switching triads up top, and we're ascending up. We're starting with an A triad where you bar down on the 2nd fret of the D, G, and B string. Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah, I didn't put it on the tab. That was an oversight. I'm probably going to play this with palm muting, okay? And then open up for the triad strums. The next one is going to be the 4th fret of the D, 2nd fret of the G, 3rd fret of the B. And that gives you a D triad. What's up, Harry? New Zealand. Excellent. Okay. Glenn, what's up? Good to see you. I'm going to take that same shape that's playing a D major triad right there, move it up 2 frets, and I get an E major triad. And then the last chord is just going to be another A triad, different shape, coming out of that A major bar chord, but just playing those D, G, and B strings, okay? So really what I'm doing is I'm cycling through the 1 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 1 chord. We're on section 3, syncopated triad riff, section 3, for those in the PDF, all right? So this is a great way to practice triad shapes, and I'm going through 1, 4, 5 against the pedaling on the A. And then in the next line, bar 15 and 16, I'm switching it down to E. So let's look at these shapes. Now I'm going to pedal on the low E string, and I start with an E major chord. Triad shape. This time you got to use your pinky. All right, 7th fret of the A, 6th fret of the D, 4th fret of the G. Okay. Okay, and then you've got 6th fret of the A string barring down on the 4th fret of the D and G. That is that's first inversion B major triad. Same shape down 2 frets is an A major triad. Okay, and then you recognize the last triad shape is out of that E major, right? So we're going 1 chord, 5 chord, 4 chord, and then the 1 chord. Does everybody kind of see that? So learn your triad shapes. We've got like really common ones, especially the D, G, and B strings. You're going to see songs played with this stuff all the time. Right? And less common on the lower strings, but still equally as useful. Okay? Cool. All right. Let's get into some funky strumming a little bit because we're talking about styles. Okay? And this is my funky strum a little bit. Let's see here. Ah. All right. All right, so we're now on exercise 4, a little bit of a funky kind of thing, using dominant 7th chords and just replacing that 3rd with the 4, which will make it a sus4, a dominant 7th sus4. So that first one, you've got an A note, okay? 7th fret of the D, and then 9 on the G, 8 on the B, and then you've got the 10th fret of the high string. That gives you the sus4, and when you move that pinky from the 10th to the 9th fret, you're moving it from the sus4 to the full dominant 7th chord. You're going from the 4th to the 3rd, major 3rd. All right, so you can kind of see that we start on a downstroke, and then there's 2 muted strums, an up and down, and then we strum the chord again on the upstroke, and another down up, and then a down on the chord again. Okay, so it's a little bit tricky because we're going to go, sorry. Because you do it you're doing the chord on a downstroke, and then the next time you press down on the chord, it's going on the upstroke. So what you want to do, one strum where you're pressing down on the chord, and then the next 2 strums, you're lifting off the chord, but holding onto the string. So you get that chick sound, that muted sound, right? All right. So add a little bit of speed to that. Right? Really cool kind of thing, like sort of a, funk kind of thing, right? Heading on down to bar 19 and 20, I'm going to play the same thing, but on a different string set, some different chords. So I'm going to play E, 7 sus4 to E7, and then D. D7 sus4 to D7. So now you see the different shapes. Okay? So now this one, starting on an E dominant 7th, is a bar chord. You're starting on the 7th fret of the A string, barring all the way down, adding 9 on the D and 9 on the B. And then your pinky, once again, is in control of the sus by moving it up 1 fret. Now you've got the sus4. it back down for the straight dominant seventh. Same strums here. Cool? Everybody kind of see that a little bit? Great stuff here. Like just kind of a, you know, don't have to really even get too quick with it, right? A lot of times that funky stuff is super fast, but something like that is nice and groovy, right? Something that we can kind of get at a little bit of a lower tempo and still have it sound pretty cool, right? Excellent, excellent. All right, everybody hanging in there. Exercise 5. I thought I'd throw in the Calypso Rhythm. Does it work on acoustic? Yes, Rich, absolutely. This funky stuff, you know, a little bit trickier because you're going to probably be, a lot of times in funk, you're up the neck a little bit more. So definitely not the easiest thing, at least to start on acoustic, but definitely can be done. Okay, so, and it's great to work on just being able to play stuff on electric and transfer it all to acoustic as well. That is the Santeria chord. I'm not sure. Oh my goodness. Because of higher action, yeah, just, you know, generally speaking, acoustics are a little more difficult to play than electrics, right? And particularly on the higher stuff. But, you know, of course, there are acoustics that, you know, are set up, can be set up to have really low action and all that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, they're just a little bit of a bigger guitar. All right. Exercise 5, the Calypso Rhythm. So this one, I'm going to play it first, and then we'll kind of break it down, and we'll see sort of what it sounds like. And it could even be a lot faster than that. Kind of sort of. Okay. Nikki caught it. Yeah. Crazy Train backwards. I'm using the chords from Crazy Train on that previous example, the triads, right? You caught it. All right. So let's talk about the Calypso Rhythm. First of all, we'll talk about the chords because it's just 2 chords. Okay. And just starting off with a straight A bar chord. Okay. Barring down on the 5th fret, 7th fret of the A and D, 6th fret of the G. Okay. A major. Going from that to the 5 chord, which in this case is E7, E dominant 7th, and I'm using the C7 cowboy shape, right? Moved up so that the root is on E, 7th fret of the A string, 6th fret of the D, 7th fret of the G, 5th fret of the B. Okay, so you don't have to switch positions in order to do this, right? So this is great chord, finger changing practice, right? Particularly if you want to get faster and faster with this, and also work on it being smooth. So let's check out the strumming. I'm going to stay on the A chord to show the strums. Down, 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 up, 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 down, 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 up, 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 down, down. That's the strum pattern. Okay, now also notice that we've got that little staccato symbol under the notes on the staff, and that means we're cutting off the chord very quickly, like that. And it's that same technique we were using earlier, where you strum the chord and then pull it off the fretboard. Okay. Okay. I'm not doing any kind of muting over here. It's all just pulling the fingers off the fretboard, but not off the strings. Okay. Also notice this is going, right? I'm not strumming every down and up. I'm just hitting the strings whenever I want those chords to sound, right? But I've got this motion going, and that's what keeps my timing nice and smooth. Right? So you could practice this by strumming all the strings, and when you lift off the chord, you're getting the mutes in between. Then you want to practice it so that you're not getting those mutes in between. Okay. So pretty cool rhythm there as well. And again, once again, just combining downstrokes and upstrokes. So, you know, just getting this under your fingers a little bit is a little bit tricky. So you just got to go slow it way down, work out where you're hitting a chord on a downstroke and where you're hitting it on an upstroke, and just, you know, practice it over and over, nice and slow. Once you practice it a lot at very slow speeds, it starts to become easier and easier to bring it up to a faster tempo. Okay? Makes sense? All right. I believe it was, who was it? Last week said something about slide. So I thought I'd throw some slide guitar in here. And I just also want to mention that maybe about 6 weeks ago or so, maybe a couple months ago, I did do one of these sessions on slide. So look for it on the channel. Look at the list of videos. And you'll see a live session. I did a slide workshop. Okay, so definitely check that out. And also, of course, guys, all of this stuff is on Guitar Tricks in one form or another. So if you've got your Guitar Tricks login, check it out. Do a search on some styles, search on some stuff. You'll get lots of stuff come up with all sorts of interesting and cool techniques and approaches and all that kind of stuff. Open G tuning for the slide. There you go. All right. So I'm going to keep it in standard for this. I've just got one little exercise right here. Hey, what's up, Jeff? Good to see you. Right on, man. It's been a bit. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so just a simple little riff right here, okay? And starting off just by sliding in, and in standard tuning where money chords are for the slide are going to be the D, G, and B string, okay? So we're going to slide in to the 3rd fret, okay? And then you're going to just arpeggiate B string, G string, D string. And if you want to add a little bit of shake there, a little bit of vibrato. Okay. Now with the slide, little slide primer, right? You have to determine what finger feels the most natural for you. A lot of people like the pinky. Okay. A lot of people like the ring. A lot of people like the middle finger. Okay. I use the middle finger. It's just what I got used to. It's not the most sort of technically correct way to do it, but it's just natural for me to do that. But a lot of people like either the ring or the pinky. Okay. So you have to kind of do a little bit of experimentation to figure it out. Now, the key with the slide is that you want to bring the slide over the fret wire. Okay, it's not where you would normally put your finger. If I put the slide perfectly, you know, in the 3rd fret like I would do my finger, you're going to be flat. Okay, you've got to put that slide over top the fret. And so to work on that intonation, to have it perfectly in tune, takes a long time. And a lot of times we can get away with it not being as intonated just by adding some vibrato. And So if you start shaking it around the area of that fret, it's going to still sound pretty cool, right? So, okay. There you go. That's it. So you want to put it over top that fret wire, okay? Now, slide and electric acoustic sounds great. I agree. Let's see. Don't understand when someone says open anything tuning. I think I'm confused with old knowledge from the trumpet days. Open anything tuning. Yeah, I mean, open tunings are just tune the guitar to a chord, and there's a number of different ones. E tuning, D tuning, G tuning, where you tune the open strings to a chord, and then that way all 6 strings, when you move the slide around, you're playing full chords, right? But always remember that you've got that open G triad right here, the D, G, and B string. So those are your money chord strings for the slide, okay? All right. So we've got a slide up. And then we're going to do the same thing from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret. Slide down. And then just the open strings, open D, G, and B strings. And then slide all the way up, just a classic move, right? Going from the low octave, slide up to the 12th fret there, and adding that vibrato to give it just a little bit of juice, right? Cool? So a little bit of slide I thought I'd throw in there, but definitely if you're into the slide, check out the slide workshop from a couple months ago. It's on here. It's in the video section of the YouTube channel, all right? Cool. Got to use a pick with a slide. Yeah, you know, you don't always have to. Like George Harrison, or like especially if you're playing single note kind of stuff, okay? It's useful to use the fingers because you can control all the surrounding strings and mute them, okay? So consider that if you're doing more melodic single note kind of stuff with the slide. The fingers will help you control the strings a lot better, all right? Yeah, same for lap steel. I'm not sure, lap steel, but you can kind of, yeah, tune lap steels to whatever. Usually a lap steel will be to an open tuning, I would think. Right? And you got it down on, you know, obviously horizontal, so it's kind of a different thing. Cool. All right. Excellent. So there's your slide, a little bit of slide primer tonight. Mess around with that. What is the most common tuning for slide? Is there one? I don't know if probably the most common would be open G, I would think, but open D and open E, which are sort of the same tunings, like a step apart, one's higher than the other, are probably the next ones. Okay. So, but you know, a lot of people do stuff on slide on standard as well. It's just kind of handy to know how to get around on it. Like for example, you're playing a song and then there's a slide part in one of the sections, right? Dusty, that's a funny one. Yeah, cool. Do you prefer usual setup? I don't know. I'm not like a slide expert by any means, so you know, I kind of just learn what I kind of have to for songs or whatever, and kind of go for it with that. So play E flat and rock it all. I love it, Peter. Right on. Yes. Right on. Okay, cool. All right. So exercise 7. The cat for sliding or picking. Hendrick style rhythm. Okay. So very similar riff actually, but not using the slide and just doing something like this. Play that one more time, a little bit cleaner. Whoa. Okay. More of a Hendrix kind of thing. And what I mean by Hendrix is you're playing off a bar chord here. This is a C bar chord, 3rd fret of the A string, barring down on the 5th fret of the D, G, and B. And this is a classic move right here, where you're sliding from 2 frets up on the A string up to two more frets, right? From the root, and then 2 frets up to the major 3rd, okay? And then you're using your index finger to get the top part of that chord again. So you're sort of changing positions but playing the same chord. So this move right here, really common and really sounds great, used tons, and it's really useful to kind of just add some ornamentation, really simple ornamentation to a chord. And then when I get up to the G, that's sort of the 1 chord. Okay, so you go back and forth there. Right? Pretty straightforward, but super useful, super. Make sense? How we doing? All right? Cool. All right. So coming into the last, I sort of leave a little bit more of a tricky country one for the end. Yeah, definitely sort of the Sweet Home Alabama thing. That's the kind of idea with that. That's the kind of things you can do with that. Okay. All right. So let's see if I can get it. So this last country thing has got some hybrid plucking going on. So I'm holding the pick with the thumb and the index finger, but using middle finger and ring finger to grab the G and B strings. And you can see that I'm doing the 2nd fret of the G and B and the open G and B and G and B strings. Starts off with a triplet, hammer on, open D string to the 2nd fret to the 4th fret. Okay, so I'm going to pick that. So you've got to work out this on the D string. You're going to pick all that stuff and pluck on the G and B with these fingers, okay? Go back to the 4th fret of the D. And then it's open G and B. Back to the 2nd fret and then pull off. Back to the 4th fret. You do that a couple times. Okay? Get going with a little bit of velocity, it sounds pretty cool. Okay? And then in the B section, or the B part of this example, the last 2 bars here, I've just changed that double stop, 2 notes at the same time, on the G and B string, to instead of the 2nd fret on both strings, 2nd fret of the G, but 1st fret of the B. And that outlines going to the 4 chord in this progression, which would be like more of a D7 thing. We started off on the first one off an A chord. Okay, and then the second example, we're sort of outlining that D7 chord. Okay, so you can kind of put those 2 together and go. That's sort of the idea there. All right? Makes sense? Go slow with it. I can play this one time on the video kind of slow just so you can kind of watch it back and kind of see if you can kind of see what's going on. Cool. All right. Did I get all the questions? I hope so. I hope everything clear as mud tonight. hope you got something out of this tonight. A few little examples, some cool ideas to work on, to jam around with, mess around with. All right. I appreciate everybody coming on tonight. All right, Dusty, absolutely. Check it out. Fundamentals on Guitar Tricks. And like I said, just come on back and watch just parts of this video. If there's like certain things that you want to kind of get out of it, this will be up. So you can come back and kind of watch, little sections of it, okay? Right on, Audible. That's awesome. Thanks, Jody1, Judah, and Kermit. All right, excellent. Ron, Igor, thank you. Douglas, Jeff. All right, man. Rusty, thank you. King 50, thank you. Thank you. Ed, all right. Steven H, thank you. Thanks, Dave. All right on, Susan. Got to do it. Excellent. All right, Steve. Good stuff. Peter, great to see you again. Thanks for joining. Jim, Glenn, thanks so much. Dusty, right on. Ron, Duke, thank you. All right, thanks so much, everybody. Harry, right on. Next week, we're going to do another guitar workout. Okay, so next Friday, same time. Saturday morning, depending on where your whereabouts. Hope to see you all again next week. Take care. Be safe. And we'll see you soon. All right, take care, everybody. All right.